Hi, Stephanie Toman here again with some word skills beyond the basics. These things we're going to look at today is still with references. This is references 3. There are references 1 and 2 if you've not seen those. This area is dealing with caption breakdown. That's what sort of the understanding of it really and how it works. And then we've got the captions themselves, that's inserting and using them. And then we've got table of figures where we can insert, as we did a table of contents, we could do table of figures, table of tables, etc. So it's going to look at all these automated features, all part of the reference tab again. Okay, hope they help. I'll just bring it down. Okay, so captions are made up of 3 parts, particularly in this exam. You've got your label, you've got your numbering, and you've got whatever text you may want to use. In the exam, they will talk about being automatically updated. So you can see there at the top, in what order would you set these so that it was automatically updated? So when they ask you to do something that's captioned to make it automatically updated, it always sort of comes at the end of the question. So it's actually the first thing you need to do. So if we bring this over, we're actually going to do this one first. Then we do the label, then we do the numbering, and then we do the text. Okay, in that order. So how do we do an automatic update? We use this button and we have to tick the appropriate auto caption feature and then do it. So let's do that together. So I'm just going to close this. Okay, so let's open up number 6, captions, table of figures, marking index. Quite a big area, this one. So starting with the inserting captions, I'm just going to put that so that we can see it as straightforward there. Okay, so captions used to briefly describe objects, graphs, images, tables, etc. But they can also be set up to be automatically applied, which is what we're going to be looking at as part of our syllabus and part of our exam. And it's useful as well when you're doing your dissertations, definitely. You don't need to do each one separately. Okay, so once it's been created, you can go on then to put in table of tables, table of figures, and also after that we're going to look at some indexing for when you write your books and become famous and dedicate them to me. I wish, but there you go. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is all the way down to the bottom of the document, we're going to look at this table area, right at the very end of the document. Okay, on page 4. So what's happening here is if I right click and go into insert caption on the first table 1, we've got table 2, lower Roman numerals. Let's have a look and see what our auto captions say. And remember, this is the area that we use to automatically update. If we go down to the tables area, it's not ticked. Okay, so we've got table 1 there. Let's delete this table. Okay, so we're going to make this automatically update when we do another table. So we're going into insert caption. First thing we do, auto caption before anything else. Make sure it's ticked on, it is, but pop it on if it isn't. We've got table and we can OK that. It throws us out, but then we can go back in and actually complete it by doing table 1. We know it's automatic and we can put in our text as instructed. Okay, then that's applied. So then if I go and do another table and decide to put that one in, that becomes table 2 and it doesn't have automatic text. So some things have text, some things don't. And that's why there's 3 separate areas. Also, if we're going to put in a new label, so let's say I've popped in another one here. And I'm going to change that to an image. So if I right click on this one, insert caption, and I want to change it to an image and I haven't got the label, if I say new label and I type in image, I don't put the numbering in with this. In the exam, sometimes they'll ask you to do an image 1 and then give you some text. A lot of people would put the 1 in like that, okay? And then you can see you get this double 1. So you need to make sure, let's delete that when you do a new label, you just put in the part label that's that part, and the numbering is the area that comes next, and then you might have some text. Okay, So that's a different bit. So be careful that you keep those three things separate. Then when you do these extra captions we've got here, you can update your table of figures, table of tables in this case, and it will take those on board, the automated ones that I've already put in. To put this in, let's delete that. I've gone to the References tab, Insert Table of Figures, made sure that it's on Table. Notice our image is in there then. And whatever I want to do it as, okay, and there it is, it's in there. Okay. So we've got one bin popped in here as well with regard to the figures. So let's look at, we looked at tables and automatic updating. Let's have a look at the actual figures. So we've got our first one is A, starting on page 3. I'm going to go to the one before it. I'm going to insert a caption on this one. So I've got image A, so I want it on figure. I want it on numbering A, B, C. But have I got it on automatic caption? I really should have looked at that first, shouldn't I? So if I go up and have a look, it's actually not on. It needs to be on an image, and it's not. It's on a table. So if I take that off, unfortunately, the only worst thing that's going to happen is I'll lose my setting up. That's all. So I put it on an image. I've still got my figure, so I'm okay. I seems happy with that. Let's go back in now and apply everything, make sure it's correct. I lost my figure, went back to image, back to figure. It's on, stayed on AB, and then I could put tower or whatever I've been instructed. Okay. So you can see that that now is A, and that changes to B. That was previously A. So that's a beauty of automated caption. And then when I update this, it brings in automatically. Let's try the entire. And then it brings in the tower one that I've just created. So you can see the difference. Okay, so that's the beauty of it, is things will continuously update. And you can have a practice by doing this one as well. Do insert caption. It's on figure A. The numbering's I'm quite happy with that. Okay, and then these change, and then what you can do is you can update entire again, and it's included. One more area within the captions is to actually change the formatting of a caption numbering. So you can see if you click on figure, it's not a field. Click on the A, it is a field. Okay, so it might be just the caption numbering area, particularly there, that it wants you to edit. If you right click on that and go to edit field, then in the options button, it's the only one really available to you. Go in there and you have to, if you ask to change it, let's say it's changing to a lower Roman numeral, you select it, but you must remember to add to field. It has to go onto the end of the string here. That's the most common thing that people miss in the exam. So you click on there, you can see it's been incorporated. Okay and okay. And that one there has changed, but the rest haven't. And then let's go right up to the top, update entire. There it is there. Okay. So you can do new labels, you can do original labels, but the first thing you've got to do, remember, is to set it up for automatically updating. If it doesn't say to have it automatically updated in the test, you don't need to. You can just get straight in there and do whatever you need to do. So that's the caption area. Okay, so the other area of the syllabus in the referencing section is to do with indexing. So it's marking words to go into, you see at the back of a book and shows the page number, where to find it, different things selecting, and cross-referencing through that as well. So if we look at the referencing area here in the tab, you've got your insert and index, which we can do with marks and words. And then you've got this feature mark entry. So mark entry is marking those words to go into that index. If we go up to the rest of the document, let's go up and start with house. So if we mark this, we highlight it, mark index entry. It has a main entry, a sub entry, and also you could be asked to use the cross-referencing here. So if we've got a main entry house, let's just leave it as that and mark. And you can close and you see you get this coding, toggle coding coming after it. If we mark gardens, let's highlight that, mark entry. Let's do gardens for main entry and let's do grass, silly things just to make us think, for sub entry. And they would tell us exactly what they wanted us to do in the exam. If we had tower, let's mark that on page 2. So mark entry could be tower, could be spire, and we can have cross-reference steeple, like that. So you would click in there, leave the C in there, don't delete it, and then mark and close. So those things we've marked, we can see them because when we mark something, the show and hide on the home tab automatically comes on. Take it off, you can't see them. Okay, so be aware of that. We're going to pop the index into the end of the document. So all the way down into the heading, index, place your cursor, back into References tab and insert index. Like we had before, we can have particular templates. We'll do a classic and maybe fancy. I might be able to do some tab marks. Fancy is quite nice actually, let's do that. I have 2 columns, okay, and there's our index of those things we've just marked. Okay, spite, I think that's supposed to be a spire, but never mind. Okay, so now we're going to do the other side of the coin. In the exam, it may ask us to remove something from an index. So let's take our show and hide off and see how an exam question would start. So they might say to you, using the house, remove the word house from the index. We know we've got house in the index here, and it wants us to remove it. So instead of just going along here and deleting it there, that won't work. You have to go to the marking up where you marked it. So remember, show and hide to show you where it is. Pick it up, including its curly brackets, but not the paragraph mark. And then click the delete button. Then you go down to your index, and just like we've done before, everything's automated. We do a right click and update field and watch to see the house disappear. So remember to put them in, you mark them accordingly with a main entry. They can have a main entry, a sub entry, or a cross-reference. And then to remove them, you need to go and remove the markup, curly brackets included, the code, and then update the index to reflect that. Okay, so automatic features are always updated to reflect the changes you've made in the document itself. Okay, so that's the end of the references bit. I'm not going to save this, just a couple little things I want to add while you're doing references. So if we come back out again to the main area, you've got this bibliography here. So this is something that you can have a little play with for the citations. You can have a look at it and you can see how you do all the different sources. There's just a little bit of information on that, and then you can have a go at it. The multi-levels list, I just want to show you something that's quite quick for your dissertations. If you don't want to get into styles, etc., too much, and you're a bit worried or you're late, running late on things, as we do with dissertations, you can just apply these automatic multi-level list headings. So if you do Control and A, if you do this and you apply the headings one, this is this one here, I'm going towards, you click on there, they all automatically take on the headings. You can see they're all heading 1. And then you can use your tabbing to change them to different heading sub-levels, etc. Okay, so you can change that, you can modify. Remember, when you do the styles, if you base it on these, you can modify that to be, you could change that to black, and you can update that to match the heading, or you can do it the other way around where you modify the heading and make them all black. So if I drop that down and I've got a few heading in, you can see all the black that's created apart from these. So you can use that, it's quite useful, and I've done a quick one below just where I've worked it, just to see the sorts of things that you can do. And then that way you can then put in your automatic table of contents. So you can see how something might look.